1, 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. Sure. We drew cards. Huzzah! We have things. We're doing stuff. It's a combo. It's a combo now. This. Somewhere where I'm pointing, is Thran's second pizza party. Not as good as the first. Sequels are never as good, let's be real, chat. Or YouTube. Whoever the fuck is watching this, I don't know. The sequels are never as good. Whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. But it has the same concept as the other one. We're using Blood Sun and Lotus Field. So Blood Sun, all lands lose all abilities except mana abilities. Lotus Field, that means you no longer have to sacrifice lands. It's no longer hexproof, which sucks because anytime anyone plays Olamog, they're going to target this land, and it makes us so sad every time. But you don't have to sacrifice lands. It doesn't come into play untapped. It's fantastic. So if you play Blood Sun on turn 3 and then Lotus Field on turn 4, you have 6 mana to play with. That's just kind of like a little bit of ramp, extra mana to play around with, but it's not really necessary. Blood Sun just kind of shuts down a lot of other lands. So their Scry lands don't work, their Azcanta doesn't work, their castles don't work, Field of the Dead doesn't work, their Maze's End doesn't work. It's like there's so many lands that people, they don't realize how much they rely on these special lands, and Blood Sun just shuts down all of that shit. Blood Sun is such an amazing card. I think it's extremely underrated. Anytime I run red, I almost have to run Blood Sun. And as you can see in this deck, the only red cards we have are Blood Sun and Deafening Clarion. So, well, I mean, and then obviously like Mountains and stupid shit like that, but whatever. Clarion and Shatter the Sky, this is just for early removal. Keruga as our companion. We don't have anything that's less than 3 mana anyway, so why not? It's just kind of a free card. Can also be very good when we're bringing it back with the 3rd chapter of Elspeth Conquers Death. So Elspeth Conquers Death, when it enters battlefield, you exile a permanent an opponent controls with converted mana cost 3 or greater. The second turn, so on your next turn, non-creature spells your opponents cast cost 2 colorless more to cast, which is also fantastic. It's a nice taxing on them. And then the third one, target creature or planeswalker from our graveyard to the battlefield. It's a fantastic return spell. It sucks that it's only our graveyard, but it's still pretty good. It comes into play with a 1/1 counter on it or a loyalty counter. Pretty good. So when we have our permanents out, and if Keruga's in the graveyard for whatever reason, we can bring him back with Elspeth Conquers Death and then draw a grip of cards, which is always fantastic. We have Karn, the Great Creator. He is going to enable our sideboard, really, because it's a best of 1 deck. I only make best of 1 decks because fuck best of 3. The passive is surprisingly powerful right now. There's a lot of colorless decks out there with the new Ugin. So activated abilities of artifacts your opponents control can't be activated. So this applies to all of their mana rocks. All the stuff that taps for mana, all the stuff that any type of scrying things. I mean, there's endless amounts of artifacts that they just can't use. It's actually really, really nice. Is +1 till end of turn up to 1 target non-creature artifact becomes an artifact creature with power and toughness equal to its converted mana cost. We don't really use this until later on in the game. We use this -2 more often than not. -2, you may choose an artifact card you own from outside of the game or in exile, reveal that card and put it in your hand. This is just great in general because, again, it enables our sideboard. Thran's Temporal Gateway, this is the big mamma jamma. So, Thran's Temporal Gateway, it's 4 mana, do nothing artifact. Luckily, there's not a whole lot of interaction with artifacts outside of Teferi, which for some reason I've seen a lot less of lately, which is both good and bad. It's a little scary. But regardless, if they don't bounce it, like if they bounce something else, that's good. Because what you can do is you can use the ability, the 4 tap, you may put a historic permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. Historic permanents are any artifact, any legendary, or any saga, which is what we utilize it for most. So the sagas being Elspeth Conquers Death, mainly, and Kiora Best the Sea God, mainly. So Kiora Best the Sea God, amazing. You do it at the end of their turn or as a combat trick. So they swing in, you flash in Kiora Best the Sea God for 4 mana instead of 7. Put it in, create an 8/8 blue Kraken creature token with hexproof. Block something. I mean, an 8/8 blocker is pretty good. Ideally on turn 5, possibly, yeah. Turn 5 is basically the earliest you're going to be able to get this out. So, I mean, turn 5, getting something higher than an 8/8 is pretty rare, but it's still really good. So, the next one, so at the end of their turn, then your turn comes in, tap all non-land permanents target opponent controls. They don't untap during their controller's untap step. So at this point, you just get to swing in for a free 8/8. Usually, if they have more than one planeswalker, you'll kill one of the planeswalkers. And then the next turn, you gain control of target permanent and opponent controls, and you untap it. This is the good part. You get to take one of their planeswalkers, one of their lands, artifacts, enchantments, creatures, whatever you want. It's actually very funny because sometimes people just forget about that last part, and that's hilarious. But it is very powerful, especially when you have multiple of them. And then you have Cavalier of Dawn, with a little bit of synergy with that. Cavalier of Dawn, when it enters battlefield, destroy up to 1 target non-land permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature token. When the Cavalier dies, return target artifact or enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand. This is great because you can bring back your Temporal Gateway if you need to, or you can bring back, ideally, an Elspeth Conquers Death, if it's in there. But best thing you can do is if you have Cavalier of Dawn in your graveyard, Elspeth Conquers Death, and then on the third one, you bring the Cavalier of Dawn back into play, and then when the Cavalier of Dawn dies, you bring back the Elspeth Conquers Death, put it into play, and then when that's done, you put the Cavalier of Dawn back, and it's just like an infinite loop of constantly doing it. It's really good. And then, of course, at the top end, we have Ugin. This is the big giant naked Ugin. Fantastic card. +1, deal 3 damage to any target. This is good for pinging creatures, planeswalkers, face, obviously, because most of the time, face is the place. Again, we can get this out on turn 5, which is beautiful. Sometimes, depending on what they're doing, like if they have some creatures out, but we want them to kind of overextend a little bit more, what we can do is we can just keep the mana open with the Thran's Temporal Gateway, wait till the end of their turn, and then flash in Ugin, and then at our turn, when he shows up, then we can do the -X and just exile all their stuff. And this is perfectly fine. It kind of sucks because it does hit our Cavalier of Dawn, and it does hit our Blood Sun. But again, we have a lot of Blood Suns, and we don't really care if they're exiled. Cavalier of Dawn is a pretty big target. We don't want those to ever be exiled if possible. And same with Elspeth Conquers Death and Kiora Best Sea Gods, although the chance of us exiling doing a -7, very rare, but possible. So you always want to make sure you don't do that if you can. And then for the sideboard for Karn, we have Tormod's Crypt. This is just to exile their graveyard. We have Gravedigger's Cage, so they can't play anything from their graveyard. Glass Casket, this is just to exile something that's cheap. Usually we do this against an aggro deck, whether it's white or red, or vampires, or something like that. Sorceress Spyglass, this is here for a lot of different Planeswalker decks, or Cat Oven works for that. Like if you already have Cage out, you want to do something else. Sorcerer Spyglass can go on Maze's End if you can't find your Blood Suns. I don't know, there's so many different targets that you can actually do with Spyglass, but mostly we'll use it on Planeswalkers. We have the Spark Hunter Masticore. This is just an anti-Planeswalker creature. 3 mana for 3/4. As additional cast costs a spell, discard a card. As protection from Planeswalkers, so we don't really give a fuck, right? 1 colorless, deals 1 damage target Planeswalker. 3 colorless, it gains indestructible until end of turn. Overall, this is just an amazing card. Helm of the Host. This is what we use in conjunction with Godpharaoh Statue. So Godpharaoh Statue, spells an opponent's cast cost 2 more to cast. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses 1 life. So basically we turn Godpharaoh Statue into a creature using Karn's +1. So it's +1 again, up to 1 target non-creature artifact becomes an artifact creature with power and toughness equal to the converted mana cost. So we turn Godpharaoh Statue into a 6/6. And then we attach Helm of the Host to it, which then at combat makes a copy of it. So now we have 2 Godpharaoh Statues, which means opponent's spells cost 4 colorless more to cast. And then next turn, we do the same thing, and then they cost 6 colorless less. And it just ramps out of control. And there's nothing they can do about it, and they're continuously taking, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's almost like a Chandra. It's a very, very much more expensive Chandra 6 pinging, but it also taxes them massively. We have Meteor Golem. This is just for general destroying any permanent, non-land permanent. Alternatively, I also do Helm of the Host on Meteor Golem pretty frequently. If they have a lot of permanents, like I do this a lot against Shrine decks. So we'll destroy something, and then we'll attach Helm of the Host to the Meteor Golem, and then every turn it duplicates Meteor Golem, shoots something, then the next turn duplicate Meteor Golem, shoot something, and they just can't keep up with it, Platinum Angel, sometimes we use this, it almost never ends up being useful. Maybe we'll get an extra turn from it, maybe, but very rarely. Stonecoil Serpent, this is usually good on the early-ish to mid-game, just to get like a 4/4 or a 5/5. This is usually just to smack a Planeswalker. It's pretty much the only thing you really use it for. But that's pretty much it. The deck is really fun. It's not as good as the first Pizza Party. Like I said, the sequels are never as good, but it's still really fun. Would you like and comment, subscribe for the wiggly beard? It's a very wiggly beard. I believe it requires some type of love. You know what I mean? Are there any other really good sagas? I mean, we have the black one, Elvis Reborn. Elvis is pretty good. I didn't fix any of the lands, chat. We're just snap keeping because we didn't do any lands. This is not good for us. Okay. We're getting there. That's a problem. We need to find our Karn so that doesn't do anything. But next turn we can gateway into all this shit. See if we can get them to overextend just a tidbit. Just a tidbit. Rawr! Thran's second pizza party. That might be too long. Can't tell. Phyrexian scriptures? Possibly. Well, Scriptures is only 4 mana. There's better board wipes, right? Because Scriptures just... It's like a 1/1 counter on a creature and makes it into a artifact. I like cut my finger. Got it.
Some solutions must be built.
Got it. Yep. Aliseed can't protect planeswalkers, right? It's just creatures and enchantments? Is that correct? Sam Consume Pie. Welcome to Sodium City. Enjoy your stay. We are working hard on a Temporal Gateway deck. We had one yesterday that worked really well. But I kind of wanted to move over from it. Tempered Steel. You sly devil, you. Why is it called a pizza party? Because that was the name that chat voted on.
I love democracy.
So whenever I make a new deck, I just do a poll on, in chat, and whoever makes the best name, so everyone puts up a bunch of names, and then we put them in a straw poll, And then whoever's name wins the vote, they either get a free gifted sub or they get a free, like, brew around a card type thing. So, they just... The one that won was Thran's Pizza Party, and this is just the second pizza party. It's really just a way to get people involved in the chat. So, yeah, and the people they don't have to be followers or anything. It could be their first time here. I don't like that. I will draw one card. Thank you. All right, we're gonna have an 8/8. And then we're gonna steal that thing. Didn't you wanted to give that flying so I couldn't block? Not actually sure. What up, Excalibur? How's it going? You have 0 cards in your hand. We'll draw one. But that's all you get. That's all you get. David! Welcome to Sodium City. Enjoy your stay. We are cranking out the memes. Steel Overseer. It would be a shame if you could just not have that. I have a lobster. Does Blood Sun do in this deck? So Blood Sun, when it enters battlefield, you draw a card, and then all lands lose all abilities except for mana abilities. So Lotus Field, when it comes into play, it comes into play tapped, and you have to sacrifice 2 lands. When you have Blood Sun out, it doesn't come into play tapped, and you don't have to sacrifice 2 lands. So it's just like insane ramp, basically. So if you can get Blood Sun down on turn 3, turn 4 you can play a Lotus Field, and then you have 6 mana on turn 4. So it's just ramp that you can get with red, but it also shuts down like Field of the Dead. Yeah, I mean, being able to flash in Ulamog at the end of their turn and then swing in next turn is pretty devastating. I just don't know what to take out in order to add that. I mean, to be fair, like, we could take out Kiora, Best of the Sea Gods. Yeah, we could do that, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, how many memes do we want to cut before we're acceptable with ourselves, right? Like, this should tell you everything. Not good at it, but it doesn't matter. Always in every chat. No, Prep's just in the good chats, that's all. He's just in the good chats. Big difference. To Twitch chat with McWinsauce? I've never heard of McWinsauce.
Let's slow
I'll take the free card draw. Yes, I will. TGO Grinder. Tom White, I believe is his actual name. Okay. Have the memes. The memes have been assembled. Okay. They didn't bounce it. This is good.
Let's try this.
Let's go ahead and just do that. Yeah, what do you guys say about that? I'll cast Elspeth Conquers Death at instant speed. What do you say about that, Teferi? I did that out of principle. Sweet. I really like your Field of the Dead. I like how well it works. I like how many zombies you're getting from it. Yeah, I can do this. And then we'll just flash in Kiora, Best of the Sea Gods. Got it. How does it make you feel, opponent? Are you happy about that play? I'm pretty happy about that play.
Ooh.
It's a pretty good play, too. It's a pretty good play, too. That is also a very good play. Huh. Now I don't get Olmog.
Until you have lived, the true goodness can never be corrupted.
Yeah, I think Platinum Angel may be my only chance. Seriously? Wow. Wow. I mean, he could have another one. He has another one. Could have another one. I kind of want to exile his graveyard.
My grief fuels my mission.
All right. What do you got, opponent? Yeah, I'm just gonna flash in a Kiora Best of the Sea Gods. Glass Casket won't exile that. Won't exile that. All your shit's tapped. Flashing in Kiora Best of the Sea Gods is so stupid. It's so stupid. It's like, it's gotta be one of the dumbest things ever. It's so good. Yeah, Glass Casket exiles with converted mana cost 3 or less. Yeah, whatever. This deck is fucking spicy. I love this deck. You know what I mean? The majority of my decks are control decks. They're tap out control decks. They're not draw pass decks, because those decks are fucking boring. Nobody wants to watch that shit. Nobody wants to watch me be like, I drew a card, pass. Drew a card, land, pass. Drew a card, land, pass. Yellow Hat gets viewers? Well, yeah, that's because he's like really fucking talented and he's been in the scene for like what, 20 years or something like that? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that play a lot of control stuff and get a lot of viewers, but they've been in the scene for so long, and they just, a lot of them have their names built into the fact that they've won titles, whether in like big tournaments or whatever. But you don't typically see like I think maybe the biggest control player, like full-on control player that doesn't have world titles attached to them is probably Waifu Gate? Maybe? Is what I'm thinking? I can't think of any others. Correct me if I'm wrong. No, yeah, he's a super skilled player for sure, but he doesn't have Grand Prix and world titles. Like at least I don't think he does. Yeah, exactly. Like if he was going to those regularly and was doing them, he could if he tried, I think, or if he had the expendable income. I'm pretty sure he could, but he just hasn't. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the most popular one that I can think of that doesn't have a bunch of titles and hasn't been in the scene in the public eye for 10, 15 years is probably Waifu Gate. Roki should be player of the year at this point. Probably. Not slamming the guy. That excuse goes a long way in Arena. Yeah, no, it does. It does for sure. But that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. That's exactly my point, Zach. Like you're literally proving my point. There's a lot of control players that play Arena. There's a ton of Magic streamers that play Control. A ton of them. Right? There's just a shit ton. How many of them that don't have titles and been in the scene for X amount of years do you know that have big followings, huge viewerships, like in the averages of 500 to like 500 plus, like every single day? If you know any, I would like to know, because I don't know any. He's only been playing Magic 2 years? Holy shit. Crokies has been playing less than 2 years? Holy fuck. That's nuts. Good player you don't see in Constructed. Yeah, I see a lot of draft players that don't have like world titles and shit. But woo! Those are big boys.
I will lend my strength.
It's a big board wipe. It's a big board wipe. Everyone can hit my high rank mythic. You shop and play 10 hours a day. I mean, yeah, you can. Yeah, if you play top tier decks, but the thing is with Crokies is that he also crafts very high level decks. It's a lot more than just being like a net decker. He also helps. He pushes the meta a lot. I was gonna steal his little vampire dude. I was like, it's mine now, bitch. And then I was gonna Clarion again and get a bunch more life. Ugh. Oh my god.
Oh my god! Wow!
This is terrible. We need 2 lands. All right, land number 1. One more land. I think the odds argument goes away with the deck tracker. Crokies also has 12 hours a day to sit and play. It's also, oh, that's right, he is also a very good poker player. Knows how to count cards and weigh odds really well. Also true. Adds up to someone who can accidentally be really good at Magic. Yeah, but there's a ton of crossover between poker and Magic. Like, there's a lot of Magic players that play poker, and there's a ton of poker players that play Magic. It's a huge crossover. think Desi is 100% more skilled than Crokey's. Yeah, but Desi plays limited. Desi doesn't play constructed. That's bad. There's so many good players, and with the combination of variance within Magic and the different formats and shit, it's so hard to really just say, hey, this person is better.
I will defend my hand. I will rid you of your corruption.
We're in a very, very bad position.
Please do not do that.
Please do not do that, indeed.
Allow me to introduce you to a friend of mine.
No, I am the God King of Magic. Oh, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's cute.
Evil cannot withstand a righteous army.
Well,
My allies are counting on me. Restrain yourself.
we just have to hope he can't kill our Karn, really.
Say hello to my little friend. I did all I deemed appropriate.
I think I might flash in my Ugin. Just in case.
An opportunity to act rashly. Some solutions must be
It's pretty good.
Nice.
It's pretty good. You like it? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Every exploit ripples through time. Be mindful.
Rude.
Bathe in ghost fire.
Did not think that through. Did not think that through. Fuck chat. Well, no, it doesn't matter. Yeah, he was dead anyway. Just kidding. It didn't have haste. Yeah. That didn't matter. Damn, God tier 3. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. And he wouldn't have really, it would have slowed him down so much. Yeah. I could have taken some more damage. There was no reason, because I had the shatter in my hand. I could have shattered at like any time. It's not the land we wanted. And that was devastating. Top 10 anime betrayals. I didn't have a red source for the Clarion. Alkezo 420. All right. Had a lot of mono green decks. We might be okay with this. He has a naturalize. We're super sad. These don't have a naturalize? So we can just Ugin -2 here. It's great. It's good to moosh. All right. So how do they come back from this? Yeah, that's Godfrey statue. We'll give it another turn. We will give it another turn. Is that a surrender? Smells like a surrender. Nope, smells like a generous stray. We need a check land. Or we need a land to check against, rather. 6, 7. Don't have enough to play this and equip it. Okay.
Evil cannot withstand a righteous heart.
1, 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. Sure.
I battle for the forces of good.
We drew cards. Huzzah! We have things.
Awaken.
We're doing stuff. It's a combo. It's a combo now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a combo. What up, Cyanide? How's it going, mine? Does opponent have a fog? Opponent went to Disney World. Ooh, it's perfect segue. Scoop of the day, chat. It's cute. It's a little baby scoop. It's so tiny. It's when the opponent's being a big baby. They can scoop their shit up. Yo, what up, YouTube? Yeah, we going here, Strider. Come on. You didn't really think that I was that type of person, did you? Thank you everyone so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you were even a little bit entertained by this video, please make sure to let me know down below. And if you have anything that you would like to see next, go ahead and leave that there too. And make sure to check out my live stream 5 days a week, every day except Sunday and Thursday. Stream times down below.